give Arco or BP my money. Okay, well, when you buy a soda, you're not helping Arco or BP. You're helping this AMPM. You're helping get my paychecks. Same thing.
Duly noted. Duly noted. Moving on to our next topic at hand. This is in regards to Sony, who have been kind of putting a foot in their mouth recently. And this was reported off of comicbook.com by Lydiana Rupert. Following Sony's statement that they are open to more crossplay, several devs are calling them out. Sony chairman Sean Layden recently sat down with the folks over at Game Informer to talk about crossplay and how the team was, quote, open for business, unquote, to work with developers to make this a reality on even more games. Though it sounded amazing to those that were hoping to play with their hands on an Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, it seems some developers are calling shenanigans on the chairman's original statement. For those that missed our previous coverage, Layden mentioned people keep saying, why doesn't Sony allow more people to have it? We're open for business on this one. All it takes is publishers and developers who wish to permission it. As ever, just work with your PlayStation account manager, and they will walk you through the steps that we learned through our partnership with Epic on how this works. I don't believe right now there is any gating factor on that. I think they're open to make proposals because the Fortnite thing works pretty well. And then they got caught out later on when this statement was made by Wargroove, Cuttlefish, saying that they made numerous requests. High Risk Studios also was out there saying that they were making requests as well to Sony, and they were not getting the suggested help that Sean Layden is putting out there. And so it basically just makes Sean Layden look like a liar this entire time that he made this statement, and devs are coming out and saying they're actually wrong about this. So yeah, yep. It's not a good look, Sony. Sony's been saying some stuff recently that has made them not look good in this eye, and Sony knows it. The fact that there's going to be crossplay is becoming much more of a thing. It's definitely becoming the wave of the future of this next generation of gaming. Ever since it was introduced last year, or the thought of it, especially with Rocket League, like he says, like in an interview, and I'll paraphrase, like the reason why like there wasn't a simple switch to turn on crossplay is because there's other parameters that had to be done. And then like we have the team of Rocket League actually saying, we like the actual little switch, like, hey, we can just turn this on right now, and they did. And when it happened, there was crossplay with Rocket League between PS4 and Xbox One and other consoles that were able to play against each other. So one person is not telling the truth versus the other. I'm believing the devs because I honestly think it's just all business. I think it's all business on Sony's side in terms of why they can't do it, or at least not as fast as these other consoles. And it's right now they're still being looked at as the odd man out, and whether they will hurt them in the long run, that will be interesting to see in the next coming years, because the narrative has been so far, Nintendo, Microsoft have been very consumer friendly for the past couple of years, especially Microsoft, who's been pushing for more consumer-friendly programs. The consoles that are coming out are basically the same console, but keeping them steady with what options a consumer can get and what comes with those options. So Microsoft and Nintendo have been building this narrative, and Sony has not been, in recent, I want to say year and a half, maybe 2 years, have not painted themselves in the greatest of pictures, and maybe their downfall come next generation, but we'll see. This is what their narrative is right now. So yeah, any thoughts, Greg?
I mean, we've been down this road 1,000 times. It's there is absolutely no reason that I've ever heard or seen by devs, by PlayStation, by anybody at PlayStation that says that cross-platform cannot work or that it just won't work It's all bullshit. Every other fucking system has shown that it can work easily. PlayStation is just playing hardball because they're still playing in the mindset of the console wars.
Absolutely, yes. They're still in that mind. Yeah, there's definitely in that mindset. Sorry, go on. Continue.
I was gonna say. I know we're gonna talk about it a little bit later. Kind of surprised I didn't see anything about the Xbox One on the Switch during the Nintendo Direct. I totally expected it.
That's true. That's very true, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe they're saving that for a different, maybe E3. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Which will also be part of the next topic. Yeah, there's no reason other than they're clutching their fucking pearls. That's all they're doing. They're keeping everything close to the chest. Don't know why I went with this region on references or metaphors.
Yeah.
But they are literally going no.
Yeah.
No.
Because they still believe, and to some degree they are right, like that the PS4 is the number one console of this generation, and that the fact that they believe that they are winning this current console war, and that they are selling PS4 is fine, games fine, the PS4, and just boasting that ability to say that we're the best, we're number one. In actuality, is that is changing quickly.
Because nobody cares.
Exactly.
That's why it's changing. Nobody gives a fuck if you're number one.
Mm-hmm.
People want games, and I've said it 1,000 fucking times on this podcast. A game is only as good as its fucking console, and 9 times out of 10, games aren't exclusive to consoles anymore. Great, you have God of War and Spider-Man. Good for you, Sony. Great. You know what I'd really like to do? Play Apex Legends with my friends on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And again, this is going to be this is what the next generation of games are going to be. This is the direction that the entire game industry is probably looking at. As more and more game devs look at this and find ways to crossplay, it's a benefit for them, because then they can have multi-platform multi-platform games where, like Wargroove can be on PS4, Xbox One, PC, what have you, and able to have the benefit of players playing each other and supporting the players who are playing the game and buying the game in various ways, rather than being an exclusive to one console and only that console, which may gain you a certain amount of money versus how much more money you could get.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, yes, you are 100% correct. So that's what fucking hurts my brain about this whole thing is I truly just do not understand why you wouldn't do this. There is absolutely no reason for Sony to be so beholden to what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think one way or another they're going to have to realize that the way that the game industry is changing, if they don't adapt to it, then they're going to be one sitting at one. If they will look at themselves as sitting at last or sitting at the bottom of the barrel and behind the times.
We've talked about it before, but because I feel like half the topics we talk about on the show,
I know.
PC gaming is making a massive comeback. And I mean, it has been for a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very clear now, and Microsoft's making moves on it. Nintendo's making moves on it. They know this.
Absolutely.
And they know that when you don't play ball in this industry, you get left behind.
Yep.
Microsoft learned that the fucking hard way.
Absolutely.
Kicked that CEO out, got the new guy in, and the new guy was like, yeah, we got to make moves on this. We got to not be stupid about this. And they weren't stupid about it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just...
Speaking of new people, I just want to throw this in there before this topic ends. We can talk a little bit more about it in the next segment as well. They just hired a new CEO for Sony recently, and the name is Jim Ryan. you may not know that name, but this is the man who said back then, and I got some quotes here. Well, it remain when we've dabbled with backwards compatibility, I can say is one of those features that is much requested but not actually used much, said Ryan. That now was at a Gran Turismo event recently where they had a PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4 games, and the PS1, PS2 games looked ancient. Like, why would anybody play this? And then follow up, just another quote here. Let's see. Actually, do I have several quotes? Okay, yeah. I'll talk more about this in the next segment. But basically, Jim Ryan is the man who did not believe in that having emulators on a PlayStation or a console is worthwhile, as well as like also knocking on Knack too. He said next that part, you know, is whatever, but.
Yeah, I mean, again, part of them living in the past is that they think that exclusives sell consoles. Mm-hmm. They don't.
Yeah. So, speaking of more Sony stuff, do I have this set up for the next? I don't actually. Oops, hang on 1 second. Where's my video? There it is.
Anthony, not ready for prime time.
Live streaming, nothing like it. Okay, so the next topic at hand, this is reported off of thegamer.com, where Sony had explained why PlayStation